I would like to really focus on London here, whether you are from East, South, West or North London. We've all got particular words, particular terms that we use, no matter what part of London we live in. So is there a specific London accent maybe that makes certain words sound different? Are there particular words that you feel are more popular in your ends? Maybe particular words that are popular in your part of your neighbourhood? 0800 731. But before we delve into and explore the history of the English language, I'd like to look into the socio-linguistic perspective. But actually, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, how accents shape our world view. But I have always been conscious to articulate myself in particular situations, because I know sometimes you can be judged by that, by your accent, positively and negatively. And as such, I wanted to talk about the Cockney language and just the rich history that we have here in London. I'm joined by Andy Green, who's the co-founder of the Modern Cockney Festival. Andy, great to have you on the show. Thanks for joining me today.
Great to join you on World Dictionary Day.
So, firstly, what's your take and perspective when we talk about 2023, London, where we are now, the Cockney language, is it still as vibrant as it once used to be in our everyday vocabularies?
Very much so, but all language evolves. It adapts with new changes, new influences. So it's very much alive and part of our world today. And as I say, constantly coming up with new forms, new ways of speaking, as well as celebrating the rich colour and diversity that exists in our world.
So when you talk about the rich colour, what kind of, from the work that you're doing with the Modern Cockney Festival, which I know it's for anyone with an affinity with this kind of idea of, a common Londoner. But what are some of the words, or what are some of the, new terms that you've seen rise within Cockney culture?
Well, it's about sort of adding both softness, humour, light and dark in the way you speak. So if you've had a terrible day and it's all gone Pete Tong, it's a way of sort of expressing yourself and making a point, but adding it with a special flavour, resonance that, when you use it with each other, it adds richness to the way we deal with each other, talk to each other. You
are a man after my own heart. I use that term all the time. It's all gone Pete Tong. But I've got to be straight with you. I get some weird looks from some people because they don't know why I'm saying it. So can you, for Londoners who don't know why we use that phrase, can you explain, Andy, why you'd say it's all gone Pete Tong?
Yeah, it's a sort of a more modern incarnation of what's called Cockney rhyming slang, where you use a word that rhymes with another word. Earlier forms of rhyming slang made it even more complex, that you didn't actually use the first word. But now I think more modern versions of rhyming slang, you say like Pete Tong to give the complete thing, and it rhymes with the word wrong. And I say it just softens and makes it a bit humorous, a bit of warmth, and also by knowing it or not knowing it is another form of communication, engaging with people. See,
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I've been saying it forever, but I didn't know it was because it rhymed with wrong. I just was like saying it. But what's your thought on this? How does someone's choice of words affect our perception of them? You heard me in my introduction saying that sometimes you can be judged, by the way that you speak. I know oftentimes I think it happens more so when I'm with my friends, or, I will drop my T's a lot when I'm speaking to my friends, things like water, the T just kind of is gone. It's forgotten. It's like it doesn't exist, to be honest with you. But I know in the past I have been judged by people around the way that I talk. And what's your perspective? How does someone's choice of words affect the way that we interact and perceive them?
Well, I think you've got two things there. One is there's an age-old social prejudice when, interestingly, Cockney originally was actually meant posh people, Londoners, as opposed to country people. But then come like the 18th century, when greater social divisions, elocutionists started then sort of encouraging people to speak a proper English as opposed to what labelled a non-standard English. So if you spoke with a Cockney accent, so for example, when I was at school many, many years ago, we had to call out a number. And because I'd moved schools, I was the last one in the class, and I got a teacher hit me round the head when I said 33.
Oh, goodness.
And so you can see there's maybe stigma, negativity associated. But I think the other interesting point you raised there is that we now live in an age where identity is more complex. We've got a wardrobe of identities that we know where the appropriate clothes vocally to different situations. So in some ways, it's a much richer and diverse world and a greater range of repertoire that we can call upon.
My nephew listened to my show a couple of months ago, Andy. He listened to this show, and when I saw him on the weekend, he told me I was listening. I said, "Oh, what do you think?" And he said, "I knew it was you, but I don't know why I didn't know it was you." And I was like, "What do you mean by that?" And then his mum turned around and said to me, "It's because you've got a different voice on radio show." And I couldn't believe it. But I think you make a valid point. We do, don't we, have a different tone to our voice, maybe even a different style in the way that we talk and articulate ourselves, dependent on the social circumstance that we're in.
Absolutely. So, as you're saying about the Cockney lives on as part of this wardrobe of identities, ways we speak. As I say, it adds richness to the situation. So when you say you're talking to your friends, you're dropping your H's or whatever, that really sort of is a code for guys, we're relaxing, we're chilling out here. Yeah. It's a more relaxed than the posh maybe radio voice that some may accuse you of.
Yeah, I'm glad you say accuse me of, because I don't think I'm that way at all. But can you teach me some Cockney sayings? I'm forever trying to learn, and I think that it's such a rich history, and as you rightly say, actually, Andy, there is a real evolving language of Cockney as well. But there's also Cockney humour. There's so much around it. So are you able to maybe teach us a couple of sayings?
Yeah, like I say, if you're trying to, this is perhaps a more older one here. If you want to have a look at, let me have a butcher's, which is butcher's hook for look.
Yes.
So, let's have a quick butcher's. Again, adds informality, vitality to your language. This is one when I remember once I was working in the council, and this guy had just cleaned his floor, and I walked over it and said, "Get your plates off my lovely clean floor," plates of meat. So you can see it just adds, just to add dimension, richness to how we deal with each other.
Oh, I think absolutely. I mean, I'm smiling as you're sharing those. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Modern Cockney Festival then? Because this has been, hugely important. But I understand when I was looking at this, it's a wake-up call to Londoners and beyond. Tell us why.
Well, yeah, because, again, there's an idea maybe that Cockney is not relevant or dying or whatever, and the reality is it's constantly evolving, constantly there, and it's very important for people. I love the comedian Arthur Smith, who described Cockney as the non-posh Londoner, and there's a way, actually, that you feel better about yourself. It boosts your confidence, self-belief, and, when people are prejudiced against you or negative, it washes over you because you've got that self-belief and confidence if we come together and celebrate this wonderful identity that we have.
And I love the kind of whole, premise of the festival around, holding on to the identity of the common Londoner, as you say, almost that you feel it's been airbrushed out of history.
There's very much a real danger of that. So, we need to sort of ensure it. And also not only just airbrush, but negative. So, like my grandkids went to see some films recently, Puss in Boots and so on, and Matilda. And the baddies are all got Cockney accents. Now, that's perhaps it's been long established, but I'm almost now tempted to say, like Dick Van Dyke, you're forgiven, because he had a terrible Cockney accent, but at least he was a good guy.
Right.
And so you've got this sort of challenge here of stereotypes that are unhelpful and can hinder, cause social division, stop people coming together. We've got a wonderful image in our material of the pearly burqa. And that, a wonderful image of that identity is something that you can be proud of, that's inclusive, based on positive values. And the more we can encourage that, the better in terms of a more inclusive, accepting society. It's
quite a fantastic premise and an important one. How do people get more details then, Andy, about the festival?
So we're coming up next March. So it's the days you're always going to remember, because it's the 3rd of the 3rd to the 4th of the 4th.
Lovely.
And if you visit our website, www.growsocialcapital.com, That's growsocialcapital.org.uk. There'll be more details there, and we look to many people to have a butcher's and enjoy what they see.
Oh, we very much look forward to it. Thanks for joining me today. Andy Green there from the Modern Cockney Festival.